Good morning, everybody. It's me. Hi, Teri Hunter here with your weekly tarot and horoscopes. Welcome to my channel. We have a lot to talk about. It's a big week, if you ask me, because Mars and Pluto's opposition, which has been going on for quite a while, but it's reaching its peak, and it's going to be very powerful, and it's going to be very I don't even know how I want to describe it, but we're going to try. But before I start, for those of you that are new to my channel, good morning, Catherine, or those of you that are unfamiliar how this works. I'm an intuitive astrologer. My name is Teri Hunter, and these videos are based on whole sign Western astrology. So when I'm talking about a sign like Aries, for instance, it's going to rule the first house. It's the rising sign. Personally, as an intuitive astrologer, I think your moon is beyond important. If your moon is in any one sign, I would absolutely listen to that portion of the video, because we are emotional creatures and we operate on emotions, whether we think we do or not. So regardless of your perception, your rising sign, how you view the world and yourself, your emotional body is going to dictate a larger portion of that, and some of it's not conscious. Then we have the sun. I think the sun is the third most influential. So these videos are by rising sign. I'm kind of like belaboring the point, kind of letting people get in the room, because the transits this week are pretty important. When I talk about a day or a time, it's this is not going to be a day or a time kind of thing, because this isn't the monthly. All right, let's start with Venus this week. Venus is at about 11 degrees of Sagittarius right now. She is approaching the great attractor. This is very important, because this is giving Venus an opportunity to feel her voice, her inner voice. And at the same time, Venus is making a square to Saturn. And Saturn is stationing in the sky, hands on hip, sort of saying, have we done a big enough review? Have we made a new game plan? Are we willing to endure the landscape of that game plan in order to get what we want accomplished? When Saturn is stationing, and Saturn has been retrograding, and it's so slow. So it's been at like 13, 12 degrees for a very long time. This is significant to me because the 12th degree is the Piscean degree, and the 13th degree is the Aries degree, aka my spirituality and my braveness, Mars, to make this my foundation. So we are going to see Venus and Saturn squaring. It's going to be exact on the 29th. Now we're heading towards the presidential November 5th, which is huge. And I think that this is twofold, because Venus represents money and Saturn represents government. And the square represents a very tense aspect that's like been hanging in the sky. Our money, the things about our money, the idea that our money has felt as if we think about Saturn in Pisces, we could feel like the government is eroding, is taking away, washing away our voice, our money, our sense of self, our sense of thriving. So I think this is really powerful. It's going to become exact again on the 29th, and this will be at 14 degrees, which is the Taurus degree of my food, my money, my voice. One of the things I think is so powerful, again, is not just our voice, but freedom of speech. Seeing more and more censorship is been in place. This could come in because this plays back to Mars and Pluto's opposition. And this has been growing and growing. We've been feeling it. Pluto is in the last degrees of Capricorn, and this is at the 29th degree, which for me is significant because it's the mastering of the sign. It is the Leo degree of leadership, and it's the 29 reduces down to an 11, which reflects how I think, or my mastery, how I'm aware of my thoughts are things. So I think that this is because this is going to this is going to go on for weeks, but it is going to be exact at 29 degrees on the 1st and the 2nd of November. And Mars will enter Leo next week on the 4th, the day before the presidential election results are starting to be tallied. This is so powerful. Pluto in Capricorn, government. We're just talking about Saturn in Pisces. Saturn rules Capricorn, and Venus in Sagittarius about money and about my voice. I think these are the two big topics that we're looking at. So now we see this growing opposition of Mars, who feels weak. Mars is in Cancer. Mars is in fall. Mars has to figure out how to defend the home, protect the home, operate in a way that emotes, but is also aware of what Pluto is doing. Because Pluto in Capricorn is deconstructing not only the outer world of our governments or our structures that repress and limit us, but also of our fears and our disempowerment. So I think this is super, super powerful. And I think that this is the most powerful transit of all of 2024. We will not see this kind of opposition between Mars and Pluto again for 248 years. May I mention there's a separate video on those final days if you want to check that out. And that will transition me into the new moon that's happening on 11/1, 9 degrees of Scorpio. Did a separate video on that as well. And just for, I was going to say shits and giggles, but I'm not going to cuss on the channel. Did you like the intros and the end? I don't know if you get to the end, but we have an end card now, and we're getting all fancy since I have my magician up there in Bend, Oregon. So anyway, we have on the 1st, the new moon in Scorpio. So check that out. We will see Mercury. Mercury right now is at 21 degrees of Scorpio. And by the end of the week, it'll be at 28 degrees of Scorpio, making an opposition. Well, I should say by the 30th, it will make an exact opposition at 25 degrees to Uranus. So here we're seeing Uranus in Taurus. This rings back to the idea of Venus rules Taurus. Taurus rules the voice. It rules the money that I make. Scorpio rules power and control. So there could be some information, or there could be news, media, things that happen that bring a personal epiphany of some kind, literally a revelation. And I think this opposition, because when we get to the 1st, it's at 28, Mercury's at 28 degrees. Then it will go into the 29th degree. Again, this is that mastering of the awareness of what's happening in the underbelly. Scorpio rules money. This whole week feels like it has to do with basically thriving. I feel like, and we've known this all along, that the world's eyes are on the United States right now as we walk through these last days of this presidential election, and we see unprecedented things happening. Okay, out of nowhere, people are just I don't know. I don't want to get into a political conversation, but Bill Gates donated $50 million to Kamala's campaign. I say this because Venus rules money. Venus is squaring to Saturn. So there's something tension, and Saturn right there would be Bill Gates to me, the big money guy. And why did he do that 2 weeks before the election? I say that because clearly there's some agenda that they're going to push forward in the way of shifting the public's viewpoint of her dynamic. This is just one little thing. And I bring it up because how do we ignore what's happening around us, right? So your awareness of this is going to be coming, the Pluto Mars square is going to have you feeling like, oh my God, what do I need to do to make sure that I'm safe, I'm protected? So yeah, that's going to be pretty wild. And it's going to go into next week, obviously. And the Pluto Mars opposition, while it is exact at 29 degrees on the 1st and the 2nd of November, it will enter, as I said, Leo on the 4th. We're going to feel it all the way through to like pretty much, because as Pluto moves into Aquarius, we're going to get this sort of shadow of it. So it's going to go on for months. That's all I got to say, because the the orbs, the slowness. And at some point, I think, I don't have the dates. I know Mercury's going to retrograde at the end of November, and I believe that Mars is retrograding. So we'll have to look into that. Separate video. And the other thing that's going on, Venus, money, money, money. Here we are again. Venus will be in an opposition almost exact to Jupiter around the 2nd. Probably we'll see it on the 3rd. Again, this feels like Jupiter to me now in Gemini, retrograde. I just feel like Jupiter rules the 3 branches of government of the United States: executive, legislative, and judicial. And because of that, I feel like here we see Venus, money in Sagittarius. I'm trying to expand myself. I'm trying to have new hope, new faith, new philosophies. And then there's Jupiter that's sort of, floating around. And I feel like this is important because I just think that Uranus is also going to, there's so many freaking oppositions right now. And there's so much that because of Pluto's last degrees of Capricorn, this really sets the bottom line, okay, for all the other oppositions and how we perceive them. So, because I really think that Jupiter's retrograde in Gemini is looking at how the media has depicted things that are supposed to be neutral, things. And so it's all, it's like, it's a huge poop show, right? But it's a great poop show because it's going to turn into the manure that when Jupiter moves into Cancer, I really believe that we're going to start to prosper, because those of us that have been paying attention are going to start to use the tools what we've been honing. So yeah, fertilizer, exactly. So pretty big week. So Mercury is going to be in that opposition to Uranus at the end of the week too. And this to me feels, again, I got to say, like I'm having some sort of liberation, some sort of epiphany about something. I don't really know that I feel like, we could see things in the outside, meaning in the environment. And I want to say this too, guys, this is not a week to engage in road rage, in schooling anybody about their bad behavior, in taking on any opposition to people who have tendencies to be, imbalanced. Let's just put it that way. No, people that yell, people that that ice you out, people that like are aggressive. This is not a week. And your tendencies, okay, I want to say this because I was saying my prayers before the show today. And I'm Mars ruled, right? And I got to tell you, there's just parts of me right now that are so much fighting an instinct inside of me. So I said to God and the angels, I said, please help me with my human instincts and let them be demonstrated through my soul's wisdom. I think this would be a really good sort of mantra for this next few weeks, because it's just going to be, there's no way around it. There's just going to be cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Welcome, everybody. I haven't said hi to anybody yet. Hi, Small Wildflowers. Welcome in Steve and Queen Leo. Hi, Catherine. Hi, Cece Pups. Hi, Posted Up. Welcome, everybody who's not in the chat yet. Good to see you. Okay. So I'm so excited to say I did take care of all my business yesterday. I paddled myself down and I voted in person for the first time in a long time. I'm very passionate about my vote counting. So just, be mindful, especially those of you that live here in the United States, because, we're going to go through a huge transition. And Pluto, again, is not going to be in this spot for 248 years. So it's going to be extensive. The coming months. Okay. Oh, good. All right. I'm saying, oh, good to Queen Leo and oh, good to Stephen. I'll get it out of the way. The anxiety is finally over. Let's start with let's see, it's October 27th, right? So what does that make it? It makes it Scorpio season. All right, my Scorpios. Now, Scorpio moon, again, I'm going to repeat, okay? I can't, the more I do this work, the more I look at the different ways of looking at astrology, the moon, the moon, the moon. There's just no way to get around it. Everything that you basically do will be about the moon and how you emote, how you process your emotions, how you process information that comes through through your emotional body. Then that will pop back up through your brain. So check your moon sign out, guys. But we're going to start with Scorpio rising. This is the dictating the landscape of the chart. And this is where currently Mercury is going through this house. And as Mercury will be making that opposition to Uranus this week. So let's see. And that's your first house, Scorpio, 7th house, Taurus. And I'm just going to shuffle real quick because I didn't pull 12 cards. I decided I would shuffle for the group instead of doing it ahead of time. It's so funny because every house can, I love the yay at the end of Stephen's comment, because every house that gets lit up, you can either walk through it like, oh God, or you can walk through it, oh yay, because there's always an opportunity of some kind. So here we are. I'm going to pull a card for our Scorpios, and it is the Strength card. We're using the Star Tarot today. I'm getting excited about playing with some new tarot cards. I'm seeing a lot of new symbolism, or symbolism I knew and I've been reminded. The first thing I see when I look at this particular card for my Scorpios is the snake. She's holding the snake in her hand, and the snake is red, very much representing your base chakra, your Kundalini energy. And there's a feeling that she has tamed that in some way. She has a sense of control. What did we just talk about? Your co-ruling planets are literally having an argument. It's like roommates who are having a power struggle because of some reason or another. And Mars is really challenged because Mars is in Cancer. Okay. So this is an important opposition, because if you look at it, strength is really fortitude, calming the beast. What goes around comes around. And we see this moon. Now, it's not actually a new moon, because in the card you wouldn't see it, but it's close to a new moon. That new moon is at 9 degrees in your first house. And I think that for my Scorpios, this Strength card is representing the 8 is abundance. The 8th house is your house of transformation and big money. Here, there's something about my Scorpios. It looks like you've had an opportunity to sort of tame or to reconcile or to understand how your guttural, your base, your aggressive instincts, the power and control in you. And this feels actually really good to me. Now, this plays back to Mercury's opposition to Uranus, where this opposition makes me feel like there's a pop of something. There's something where whatever the opposition unexpectedly creates, I'm like, boom, oh my gosh, I get it. And there's a sense of, I want to, oh, Queen Leo, I'm so sorry that you're feeling this way, but I want to offer this to you because we're talking about Scorpio right now. Scorpio rules the dead or the transitioned. And Mercury in Scorpio gives you an opportunity to speak to those. So you have an opportunity in the quiet of your faith to connect with your mom and allow her to come through and give you comfort and joy. And I think somehow you're going to smell something familiar. I just got a whiff of perfume, so I don't know what that means exactly. But this is for my Scorpios. Really, really wonderful card. It's a taming of an instinct or an awareness of an instinct. And as a result of it, I benefit. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Let's get some detail here. Because again, your ruling planets are like, I feel like they're thugs, okay? Like they are, my grandma's birthday is will be November 4th. And she was really my mom. My mom wasn't my mom. My mom was my nightmare. I wish I had a mom to miss, Sometimes I know it's hard, but that's the good news about having such crappy parents. I don't really miss them, and I don't miss their influence. So that's the joy of a crappy childhood. It's terrible to say that, isn't it? Well, it is what it is. All right, Scorpio. Our first angel is Archangel Gabriel. That would be Mercury's influence right now. Francesca is about that guttural instinct to look at the negative, to get mad. Archangel Uriel is here. And then we have Xana, the angel of protection. Now, let me offer you this idea, because this strength card is not saying that you won't feel the kundalini. You won't feel the energy. This is saying you know how to process the energy. You know how to work with the energy. You know how to endure through the energy, and how potentially to be much more constructive with the energy. Right now we are on Scorpio. We are starting with Scorpio rising. Very important Scorpio moon, because you're so incredibly intuitive. If you're a Scorpio moon, it's almost like you really should study the occult, because your knowledge could be a huge weapon for good or evil. Okay. Archangel Gabriel is being joined by the communications card. Okay. Mercury's traveling through your first house. Francesca is being joined by the risk card. Archangel Uriel is being joined by the B card. And Xana is, okay, I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm going to say this lovingly, because I really feel very egotistical lately. I notice myself and my ego being triggered like a teenager, okay? And I haven't felt that kind of stuff in a long time. And it really has been difficult for me as a Mars-ruled woman to be aware of it and to still tame it, and to be and have compassion for the imprint. Archangel Gabriel and the communications card very much feels like Mercury's transit through your first house. And as it has been transiting, it's going to get to the last degrees, and those last degrees are going to pop that opposition to Uranus. And here is where you actually realize that sometimes, even though you're right about things, even though people have hurt you and they've done you wrong, or they've, whatever that story is it working for you anymore? I mean, is it like, really? Because the angels are saying that you have the potential to have victory over your emotions, over those negative emotions, over this fight or flight, the kundalini, that base chakra that wants to tell you to F off and, and get out of my life. And then you're, a week later, you might regret that, because here you're being protected from your own ego. And I also think that's, where I think of the ego as edging God out. So Scorpio has an opportunity to really, because this is the thing, the fire in you, that Mars fire, that Pluto's deep psychology is fabulous when you know how to use it with like a knight of the round table, right? So you're not trying to hurt somebody, but rather illuminate them. I think that this Mars-Pluto opposition is going to start to, mess with you a little bit. The whole Mercury, opposition to Uranus is going to bring an unexpected outside influence that will let you exercise this new, evolved, aware version of yourself. So there you go. And might I say happy birthday, because you have a solar return coming, if you're not already. And you have Pluto squaring you too. That's the other thing. Pluto is going to start a square to early Scorpio energy. So while it's feeling the opposition in transit, it's going to start to, as it moves into Aquarius, bringing some tense moment. And I really think this is about the integration of an old story that you can't really get rid of. You can't get rid of your childhood. You can't release it. You can't throw a rock and howl at the moon and have it go away. That's a joke. When people do that, I honestly laugh. I mean, you could do the ceremony to celebrate your awareness of it, right? But it's never going to go away. So how you operate with it. That's my new prayer. Help me manage my ego, please. Because I don't know why it's being triggered so bad right now. I'm kind of sick of it. That's just me. All right, here we go to our Sagittarius' rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. Your tarot card is the Judgment card. Now, I love using new decks, because this is actually feels very personal to me. In the original Rider-Waite deck, you see people coming out from the coffin, and it's very kind of spooky. Here we see this character, looks like a Native American, honoring the Great Spirit, the protection referenced by the bear, the eagle, the great divine. We see these flowers beneath. There's some sort of transition from the coldness. There's some sort of awareness that has come about, or some sort of reconciliation. And, after every storm, hopefully there is a rainbow, or the potential of a rainbow. So here, let's look and see where we're going with this, because I love the idea that Venus is transiting through your first house this week. I think that the square to Saturn makes it a little bit rough, because this is where I think, for those that have been standing in awareness, that you have to sort of walk your talk. You know what I mean? I think, like, I feel like the Pluto Mars brings up a situation, and even Mercury Uranus, and now the Venus square Saturn is making me do the hard work of believing in myself, trusting my gut, calling forth the angels and the energies of the universe to work with me, the great attractor. You master that great attractor, sweet peas, and you will be magical. Okay. And the mastering is that human mind that says it's bullshit. It's not. So let's see where we're going for our Sagittarius. It's rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. First angel is Archangel Gabriel again. Then we have Ray. Then we have Compassion and Grace and Antoinette, and Francesca comes out again. So, here on my channel, everything comes down to your chatty self, right? Because I truly, truly believe in the divine laws of the universe, and they all start with our focus. What we focus on, we start to manifest, and as we start to manifest, we have choices. That's our karma, right? And sometimes we manifest things out of the friggin' blue. We're like, I wasn't trying to manifest that. I wasn't trying to manifest that. And this is where astrology is so beautiful, because you can see the transit. This is another thing I was praying about today. Why did I agree to this transit? And during this particular transit, why did I meet this person who's triggering old shit in me? Why? I didn't get an answer, by the way. I'm going to have to keep working on that. But that's what's going on. That's the karma. Your soul chooses a path. And on that path, you'll have certain revelations and certain ideas and certain, awarenesses. And then new awarenesses continue to come in. There's no destination. There's no train stop. All right, Sagittarius, Archangel Gabriel is being joined by the focus card. Here we go. This judgment card is an awareness of my focus, and my focus is my co-creation. Ray is being joined by the deer, gentle with yourself as you connect even deeper to spirit, because this is what I want y'all to know. You are human. So you could be sitting there on the couch going, all right, I would like to have a companion. I would like to have more money. I would like, whatever it is you desire. And then you think to yourself, this is BS, man. I should go send out an email. I should get on match.com. I should blah, blah, blah. No. Anytime you take action, the awareness of how you're feeling about it before you start that action, and that action should be inspired, especially for Sagittarius, not that it wouldn't be for everybody, but you have the connection to the angelic realm. You rule these very powerful points at 14 degrees of Sagittarius, the great attractor. We have this galactic center at 27 degrees of Sagittarius. This is very powerful for me. And it's the 9th house, where our philosophies and our beliefs and our going into foreign places in our mind, our heart, where wealth and expansion is offered. So it's a big deal. Everything's a big deal right now. It's probably always a big deal. Grace and Antoinette is here. You're having compassion as you're fighting with the old story. You're like, oh, I'm going to start to connect with spirit. I'm going to start to do those ceremonies. I don't even want to call them rituals. I want to call them ceremonies, as a celebration. When you celebrate what you want to manifest, and this is what the judgment card is offering you, there is great power. This is Pluto. Pluto rules billionaires. Pluto rules things that we want to experience, but we have to get through the criminal in our own mind before we can get there. And that's what this is all about for you, Sagittarius. Okay? Now, Francesca is being joined by the frog. And now this is an opportunity to allow yourself to really incorporate. And because this is what I want to say, the frog represents abundance. The frog in this deck is going from one lily pad to another, cleaning the emotional baggage in my house, but you never actually clean it. It's not like you can wipe the table and the dust goes away. This is an awareness of the contrasting experiences and how fear actually does give you that tail wag that you can't even imagine. Now, Stephen made a comment. He's at 22 degrees of Sagittarius rising. That's pretty significant, because the 22nd degree is a very transformational degree. 22nd degree represents sacrificing or losing vital life force in some way. And any planet that's at 22nd degrees and that planet and that sign are going to give you a clue as to what and where that landscape is. So, and ultimately there is no real death. There is just the shedding of the physical. And through the experience, there is offered great transformation. Okay, on to our Capricorns, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. And I kind of think, when I think about Capricorn a little bit, I think, I get excited a little bit about Pluto moving into your second house, through your own personal genius, through the integration of your fears and obligations and duties and redefinition of them that Pluto offered you. You could really start to feel like, something kick ass is about to happen because you have the tenacity to build. You have that emotional endurance to sort of look beyond the moment and see the future. That's important. While Saturn is considered repressive sometimes and depressive, it's sustainable, it's commitment. So when you have Saturn somewhere and it's making good aspects, it's offering, that stability as you commit to the dynamic. I'm kind of lucky. Saturn makes good aspects in my chart. It's also in my 10th house. So I think I had to be an old woman before. Oh, I'm going to take it. Look at that. 9 of Cups just flew out of the deck. All right. Capricorn, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. This is wonderful. Look at this. So we see all the transformation Pluto has offered you. The lotus flowers represent sort of the 5 senses, right? And they're illuminated. And then we have these hearts representing going down the middle of her garment. That's your chakras. Then we see the transformation of the butterflies as they fly up, and the 9 cups are overflowing. The dove of peace is because you're coming from your heart. This is self-satisfaction. This is lovely, lovely, lovely energy. Let's see where we're going. We have Yvonne. She is the angel of vulnerability. We have Maya, the angel of schooling and education. We have Ray, the connection to the angelic realm. And we have Shanti, the angel of peace. As I was doing this, or, blah, blah, blah. I hate when I say, I can hear my dad from the other side going, they don't know. He used to say it to me all the time. The late-born Capricorn risings, are feeling the opposition to Mars. And yet, when you feel something, it doesn't necessarily mean you act on it. You know what I mean? Like literally the situation can take place, but the action and everything happens underneath the surface for you. That's part of the Capricorn enduring. Like you feel a sense of obligation, so you don't actually bitch about the problem or whatever's going on. So when I look at the 9 of Cups and I look at Yvonne, I'm thinking, oh, wow, you're going to be really happy with something in the way of you managing your emotional body. And then we see the risk to be vulnerable. This is beautiful because, vulnerability sometimes in power. Here's the transformational Pluto in the form of the butterfly, what you're learning about yourself with Maya, about your own personal happiness and allowing yourself to incorporate that. Ray's being joined by the fire fairy, and then we have the hawk joining Shanti, the angel of peace. This feels really powerful and really positive for my Capricorns. Now, I'm not saying that you won't feel the transits in a powerful way, but as I look at this spread, I almost feel as if the growing opposition to Mercury and to Uranus is going to make something pop somehow to you. The Taurus energy is complementary to you. It trines you as a Capricorn rising. So here, I think the risk is in actually looking at what you want, the vulnerability of your emotions. Here is you surrendering to what you're learning and transforming into. You're getting more and more connected with what you want because of your connection to spirit. Because of this. And now I think you're starting to be able to see a little bit of peace coming ahead. I think you're starting to see signs and omens. It's almost like Capricorn taking that that energy of fear and going, okay, I'm going to face my fears, and then connecting with spirit to help the process has given you maybe even stronger ability, because you actually risk the vulnerability of believing you're getting signs and omens. I think that's important. If I never believed in the signs and the omens that I got, I couldn't even do this job. And I had to start to, or not had to, but I got to start to even task spirit with how I perceive things. Well, I see this when this happens. And then they would use that as a way to communicate with me. So I think Capricorn's going to be very happy with and start to celebrate their Pluto transit now that it's over, and what you've garnished moving forward. All right, let's go to our Aquarius rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. Okay, welcome, Lucy Rose. It's good to see you in the room. All right. Let's see where we're going with our Aquariuses. Your card this week is the Four of Swords. This is an interesting card because traditionally this swords is the guy laying what looks like potentially on a coffin. It's definitely not a bed. Here, this is a warrior that has come back. He's being protected during his rest by these white bears. They kind of look like possums to me, but they're bears. We see the four swords on the trees, makes me feel as if he has come to some solid conclusions about what he wants to do in the material on the earth plane. The trout that sits beneath him in the water makes me feel like abundance is coming. There will be sustenance, the fish. And now whatever he has been through, there's an opportunity to sort of rest, regroup, recalibrate. Let's see where we're going. Our first angel is Isabella. Yes, the timing is right. Francesca is popped up again. Shanti is here again. And there's Archangel Raphael. This leads me to believe that you can rest about something, that whatever you have been working on, manifesting, putting your focus on, is got enough momentum now for you not to have to micromanage it. Now it's about the universe taking charge and moving to the next phase, to the next moment. Isabella's being joined by the joy card. Definitely something's coming into focus. Francesca's being joined by the deer. Shanti's being joined by the partnership card, and Archangel Raphael is being joined by the eagle. I want to say this for my Aquarius risings. This is a time that you can really relax. I mean, I guess what I'm trying, relax is a kind of funny word. If you've had worry, fret, nervousness about something, I think Spirit is saying the time is over. You've been a warrior. You've done what you need to do. Now let us take over the rest, because it's time to feel a sense of joy. There is a sense of conquering my fears. Both the deer and Francesca are about anxiety, going down the wrong road. Here, Shanti offers you in the angels' advice, peace, because you've come into a connection and a relationship with your guides, your angels, your inner voice. And here is Archangel Raphael offering in a healing. And there's the eagle. The eagle is the most powerful and most majestic of all creatures, representing the angelic realm. So I feel like overall for Aquarius this week, it's sort of like, okay, been there. All right, now I can relax and wait for the next inspired moment. Okay. Oh, how neat. I never see rainbows in the evening. That's super magical. Okay, let's go on to our Pisces, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. Saturn right now might be feeling a little bit hard, a little bit Saturn stationing right now feels, and the square to Venus feels a little bit rough to me, honestly. It feels very, I don't know how to explain it, but in my mind's eye, I see it like this. My grandparents were in their 80s, maybe, in their 80s, and we decided to take them to a movie, okay? And we're walking them into the theater, and, they're not moving very fast, and we're getting into what is that? We're getting into the seats and they drop the lights and my grandfather stops. He can't move. He can't sit. He can't move forward. He can't trust anybody. Like it literally went so black. There's something feeling like right now for Pisces that there's a moment here this week that may feel like black, like I can't see anything. And if it is like that, then there's something about going on the interior and asking yourself a deeper truth of what you know without your eyesight. I don't know why I'm saying this, Alan. I'm just saying it. Okay. And your card is the Princess of Cups, which is actually the Page of Cups. This is love. This is love renewed. This is intuition. This is the birds ascending are interesting because they're flying fish. Okay, that's very Piscean. And what sign are we on? Pisces. So flying fish. When I think about that as a totem, that's in many ways sort of like the dragonfly being able to traverse both the air element and the water. We see that she is celebrating. There is a new moon here, or the close to a new moon in the corner. Something new is coming. And I think that this potentially could be, let me offer it this way. Saturn has, from my perception, been tasking all of us, but especially Pisces rising, to create a strong and sustainable and enduring relationship with your team, your guides, your angels, the divinity within you. Pisces of all the signs has the hardest time wanting to be earthbound. You know, you rule so much that comes from the angelic realm, the ancestral history of the soul, that it can be very conflicting, which is why you rule addiction, because the harshness of this dense experience, and it's so harsh right now, it can really be overwhelming to you. And depending upon how the rest of your chart works, you could be really conflicted between wanting to run and hide and wanting to stand up in leadership through your talents and skills. And again, depending upon the planets that you have in the house of Pisces is going to give you more information about where that comes from. So here, this is really about connecting intuitively, trusting a bigger feeling of, it feels very much like it's going into that intuitive body. It doesn't feel like it's love outside myself. It feels like it's connecting with spirit, connecting with the divinity within, allowing myself to know that I rise above the human experience, not through my physical body, but through my emotional and spiritual body, which makes it easier to experience this earthly dynamic. All right, Pisces. Desiree is saying conditions are not favorable. Merlina talks about confusion. Archangel Michael asks for courage to make life changes. And Esther is talking about reaching for the stars. So those conditions are Saturn squaring Venus. You may feel very like you have no self-worth. You could feel very like, you know, what is the point? I'm going to tell you guys something that normally I would not, you know, say on a recording forever and a day, but now there's only 8 people in the room. So, but I felt so blue this week or last week that I really wondered, like, why am I even born? What's the point? You know, it feels like just one big long exercise and, you know, blah, blah, blah. And next thing I know, I open up the YouTube and somebody wrote a comment, said, I'm so happy you were born. Those are signs. Now, it was my birthday, so I'm sure the person was inadvertently wishing me a happy birthday. But, you know, Pisces, you're so sensitive and you're so, you know, you can go so far in that it feels like if it isn't about other people, I'm invisible, I don't matter. And that's kind of sad, because here is Desiree and there's love. And the Princess of Cups is about love. And I'll bet you this is about self-love. That's Saturn square messing with you. Merlina and Merlin came out together as a couple. This is about you're confused because you don't know your own magic. You don't know the power of your own focus. You don't know the power of your own intuition. And that intuition is not just an intuition. It's a knowing that, you know, like I said to Spirit today, why did I choose to meet somebody who is triggering something in me that I thought was long gone? Like, why now? What is this about? And I pulled a card to ask, and I got the High Priestess. And it made me feel like when I saw it that I'm being initiated into another level of trusting my intuitive body and not reacting in a human way to human things, like how your face ages and are you valuable because your face is aging. I hope this is making sense. Archangel Michael is asking Pisces to step up and be the authority in their life. And then we see Astera saying, it's time for you to reach for the stars with your dreams and your desires. I think that Saturn has been really, and we know that Neptune is floating around the last degrees, and that's important as well. But for the current moment, Saturn square to Venus is probably the super most powerful thing for you. What is your self-worth? How will you trust it? How will you capitalize on it? Will you be willing to endure past the imprint of what has been? Because frankly, the imprint for me is like, it's so weird how the people who engage my services and pay me truly value me. And the people in my normal life, they don't at all. They don't listen to my intuition. They don't listen to my stuff, where people pay big bucks for and it's just infuriating to me sometimes. And yet I feel like I should know better than to even try to help people that don't ask for it. Hey, DJ, good to see you in the room. Thanks for joining. Okay, let's go on to our Aries. Now, this is going to be pretty. You guys, Aries gets to prepare. I hate the word need, because Neptune is going to move into your first house. And this, I think, is going to be really powerful, because a lot of people are going to go, oh, your fire is going to get extinguished. I don't know if that's true. I think you're going to turn into a peaceful warrior. And that doesn't mean that you're suddenly, passive. It means you're going to understand when and how and why. And this is what I think that Pluto and Mars opposition is doing. It's helping us define how we perceive power and control and things, that come at a deeper level. And through that, we can then be like, is this a mirage? Is this real? Is this an imprint? Start discerning it versus feeling it hitting us. Aries sun and stellium of powerful energy. North node's going through there. Chiron's been hitting you, posted up, transforming that wound into a gift, which is a pain in the ass, actually, most of the time, to be honest with you. I laugh more and more as I get older when I get nervous, because I just keep thinking to myself, all right, here we go again. I kept thinking there was going to be some calm destination, and never. All right, let's see. Aries. The Five of Swords. This is a nasty, I don't like this energy at all. Five of Swords is hard. So let's think about it. Mars is your ruling planet. It's literally in fall, in Cancer. And I know it's the fourth house because I'm an Aries rising. And if I'm a 26-degree Aries rising, so Mars is squaring my ascendant, even though it's my ruling planet, doesn't mean it doesn't want to mess with me. This is a card traditionally where you win something, but you lose. There is contempt attached to this card. In the natural tarot, we see these guys have been in a battle, and one guy's kind of snarky while the other two have turned their back away. I think in this particular deck that the potential of someone trying to hurt Aries or giving Aries shit, we see the arrows pointed into the center of the heart. This could be how Mars is feeling. But when I see all the other hearts around it, and I see the handles, and I look at, like, one is green, heart chakra, one is yellow, my power center, one is my red, which represents my base chakra, and then the blue, and then the final is this sword down here is white, which is going to represent that purity. So you're going to have to come from this sword here to manage all the other swords. Let's see what this is about. Those of you watching me for a long time know that I've been in a situation with my landlords, even though I'm not sure they know it, but I put in a complaint, and it's been a year in process. And I'm pretty sure it should be coming around time for everybody to know what's going on and go to the next step. I think that Five of Swords is how that plays out for me. I may win this complaint and get what I'm just due, but I'm not going to become friends with anybody. So that might be how that plays out. Now, we got to think also that your ruling planet, Mars, Aries, is in a fight with its roommate, Pluto, in Scorpio. It's not a fight you want to have. They don't fight often. I like to think of it that way. But here they're fighting about power and control, structure, fear. Our first angel is Re. That's connection to the angelic realm. Shanti is the angel of peace. Francesca is where were you focused? And Bridget is looking deeper into a situation. I absolutely think the looking deeper into a situation is allowing Mars ruled people to know how to use their sword instead of just wielding it and being this out of control, warrior. This is where the hero steps up. And that's why I think that when I see Ray, I'm already thinking this is how I've been operating. I've been feeling this gut instinct to want to war, to want to take action. You're wrong, I'm right. And it's not just with that one situation, in many situations, but I have just said, no, keep your mouth shut. Don't get yourself, in a situation unless you're really passionate about it, because sometimes Mars could just war to war. So Ray is being joined by the wind fairy. Okay, so you could be warring in your head. Shanti's being joined by the letting go card. So there's some sort of, you guys know letting go is that distance and fear that gives me a new perception. Francesca's being joined by the high priestess. You're kicking in what you know on a more spiritual, intuitive, peaceful warrior level. And Bridget is being joined by the perception card. You are very much going to feel your new perceptions tested by outside influences this week. You are going to feel yourself. Your mind is going to go one way, and you're going to be like, okay. I really want to just don't flip anyone out on the road. Don't act out. Mars ruled, Pluto ruled people need to be mindful this week, because that opposition could create unexpected hostilities in the outside world. Because you may know something, but I think it's about demonstrating it for yourself, not for others. Because this opportunity is to actually feel peace by recognizing where you're effective in your actions and where you're just blowing off anger and frustration. This is literally the negativity. And I look at this as the fight, the challenge, the fire. And here's the high priestess. This is Mars sort of in Cancer. I need to be smarter now. I need to operate from a new level. And this is looking deeper into perceptions. And that may not just be your perceptions, but the perceptions of the situation that has presented itself, and engaging in a way that really creates peace for yourself and bridges something. I think the next few weeks are just going to be so incredibly, I'm nervous about people, that are off the rails a little bit, acting out. There are transits that are hitting, some of our politicians, or lack thereof politicians, whatever you want to call them. And Uranus is retrograde. It's revisiting July's events or July's dynamics. Taurus, let's go on. Taurus. Okay. Taurus, your tarot card is the Six of Cups. This is a lovely energy. This is an energy, it's a youthful energy. It's the innocence of childhood. It is, in the traditional tarot deck, it's the only cup, the only card or energy where all the cups are full of flowers. So we see these lotus flowers. We see, 6 of them representing some new beginning of some kind. And these 2 little kids are just, taking all their colors. They're going on a magical ride on a magical unicorn. Let's see what's going on here. As I look, this is a new deck for me. And as I look, there's this sort of green, yellow, orange, feels like a rainbow, but it feels also almost like a mountainside. And it makes me think that these 3 chakras in a row have somehow created the wings for these children to fly. So there's the orange is like the Kundalini desires, the power of the yellow and the heart. So I think that this for Taurus could be very much about following your heart this week. Okay. Our first angel is Yvonne, the angel of vulnerability. We have Oceana, the angel of emotions and deeper truth. We have Patience, the angel of observation and gathering information. And Isabella is about, yes, the timing is right for something. Okay. Yvonne is being joined by the risk card. Taurus. Oceana is being joined by the focus card. Patience is being joined by the Lady of the Lake. And Isabella is being joined by the Goblin. This is all about Taurus having a more innocent and more childlike view of what the possibilities are in their life and what the things that they want are. And here it's time to risk being vulnerable to this Six of Cups, that things can actually get better. Here we have the focus is on your emotions and whether you're giving life to the idea that your emotions can actually be fulfilled, that you'll be able to reach the destinies or the choices or the manifestations that you want to have. In the angel's advice, there's this war between your head and your heart, because probably sometimes you're thinking, I think so, oh I know. Uranus going through the first house of anybody is going to shake things up. It's going to make you nervous. It's going to make you that anxious energy is like a call for the soul to be heard. And here Isabella is saying, yes, the timing is right to stop listening to your ego. And if the ego is saying there's not enough, there won't be enough, your ruling planet Venus is squaring Saturn. So there's something here that's going to be, and I think this is about fear and rather than the man, this could be more about Uranus offering through its opposition to Mercury an epiphany to, like, when I look at the Six of Cups, you could even think, you know what, this is an old habit I have from my childhood. I just was raised with, money doesn't grow on trees. And I just started acting like money doesn't grow on trees. And now, there's all this inflation and there's all this craziness and money doesn't grow on trees. And, you start to go into that. And Spirit's going, back up the bus, Taurus, back up the bus. Be aware of the old story where you're edging God out. Realign your focus. It's hard when you feel so, Taurus is so wanting emotional security. I shouldn't say emotional. Money creates a sense of emotional security. Having the resources, knowing they're there, lets all the other senses sort of calm down. So here you're being tasked to have a more childlike view, to understand that the resources, the things that you need will come to you as you focus on the reception of them with joy and with the tenacity that Saturn is asking for. And I want to offer it this way, because the first times that you start to focus on something that you've never experienced, it feels like BS. Okay. It's like, this doesn't happen. If I want more clients, I need to do. But that's not true, because when you do from fear or trepidation, or even that Saturnian hard work, there's a limited manifestation. When you manifest from joy, meaning I'm excited about doing this, having the gal helping me with the new thumbnails and seeing how the difference between, like, in the contents of my YouTube channel, my boring black, I did so many black thumbnails. I don't even know what I was thinking. And here she is, bright and vibrant. It's changing my view of wanting to do the videos. I was getting very drudged. I was feeling the routine of it. And now this new creativity has added something to it. So this could be there for Taurus as well, where Venus is also talking about your creativity and using your skills, even through fear, to push you into a new sense of co-creation. Okay, let's go into our Geminis. Rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. It's funny. Whenever I think of Skittles, I can't help but think of Snoop Dogg. I think he's like a Skittles guy, but I do think of him. He eats a lot of Skittles. Okay. Let's see what's up for Gemini. So this week, you're going to feel that growing opposition between Jupiter and Venus. Both, again, money. I think money is such a theme this week for some reason. And when I say money, I really mean abundance, the flow, the will there be enough? Do I have enough? Okay, here we go. Gemini, God bless you. I love you so much. Your mind might run amok this week. The Nine of Swords is never easy. It's always about worry. And oftentimes the worry is not necessarily anything in play. Venus in Gemini, that could also be a Venus opposition growing depending upon the degree. And then we've got Jupiter coming in, expanding the potential of that feeling of security. You know, I think Jupiter pretty much, in Gemini, while it's furthest away from home, I also think the planets, when they're in fall or in detriment, have an opportunity to stretch themselves, to be more aware versus defaulting to old habits. So here, the potential could be many things, because again, I think of Jupiter as ruling business and commerce and wealth and influencing content creation. This is the TikTok, this is the platforms. So I say that because the worry here feels as if when we see all this little air, it almost looks like a big old question mark on this side, big old question mark upside down. Somewhere Jupiter is probably expanding some kind of fear, something where I don't feel connected in some way. Behind the swords, there is in this deck a spider web, and within the spider web is a butterfly or a moth, maybe. It's white. So there's some sort of transformation happening and potential happening for you to, with a white animal or insect, we're looking at purity. We're looking at the divine. So I think that the worry is blocking you from what you can see about your connection to the divine. I perceive that the swords are in front of that web and of that butterfly. So there's something really important about being mindful of what you're focusing in on. And the money angel just flew out of the deck. We will take her. Because Serena is all about the flow of money through God. And when I say that, it's the trust, the ebb and the flow. You don't know where money can come from. I literally have been walking down the street and found $60. I have, found a lottery ticket that was not scratched, that was worth $30. And I say that only because worry is a form of prayer that doesn't serve us. So Serena's in the foundational position. Bridget's looking deeper into something. Astera's saying to reach for God and the angels, don't compromise. And Desiree is saying that conditions aren't favorable. That is the Saturn square. Saturn square Venus. Serena's being joined by the Bee card. That's nice. Bridget's being joined by the Raven. There's timing there. Astera's being joined by the restriction card. And the Owl is joining Desiree. Okay. For my Geminis, this is an opportunity this week through Pluto and Mars's opposition, through the growing square between Venus and Saturn, between Mercury and Uranus. You're ruled by Mercury. This is a real opportunity to start to look and go, am I going to sit and worry my damn brains out about something I can't do anything about right now? Or am I going to allow myself to be serene? And then what am I going to do? I'm going to call upon timing, knowing that God and the angels are doing something. There's an interesting thing about the raven, because all winged creatures represent some sort of message. But the raven, and the way it hawks, it's almost as if the raven in this deck is hawking your worry. It's like it's exasperating it. It's worry. And then Spirit's saying, look deeper into that worry. Whoa. It doesn't have to be. It could be a timing situation. There may be some sort of restriction, but look to the backside of it, because the owl is offering something. And I think what it's offering is deciphering with timing. It's deciphering that, well, wait a minute, even when you bake a cake, you got to wait 30 minutes for it to be completely ready. And then you have to let it cool. And you might be in a cooling phase. You might have created something or started something rolling that has to do with money, or there could be things like something like you're having a review at work, or something that has to do with Jupiter's influence in your first house. You're reviewing that. And the worry is, am I, whatever it could be, am I enough? Have I done enough? But Spirit is saying, no, now is an opportunity for you to realize something outside of yourself is happening. And while that outside influence you have no control over, you get to decide how you perceive it. Is it going to take you out, or is it going to serve you in some way? So we go back to my little issue with the, landlord that I don't even know if the landlord knows. Well, the biggest perpetrator has left the company, which is interesting. I'm not sure how that played out, whether he was let go or whether he left on his own volition. But in any case, it's not going to change the momentum. And so when I've worried about how it's going to play out, I realize, well, sometimes the longer things take, the better the outcome. So let's go on to our Cancers, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. And my love bugs, those of you that are the late born Cancers, patience with yourself this week. You're going to want to crab crawl all over the place. Get me out of here. Get me out of here. Yeah, that opposition's not going to be easy. It's already not easy. What am I talking about? It's already not easy. Yep, it's all about playing the long game. And lovely Three of Cups. This is a harvest card, Cancer. This is a card where a lot of work has been put in, and now we get to reap the benefits of it. So when I look at this, for some reason, I also see like the three maidens, the three maidens of wisdom. All the hummingbirds are different colors. There's green and purple and red and orange and yellow. Somewhere I feel like I'm harvesting. I am celebrating whatever it is. The moon, see the moon energies? We've got the full moon in the middle and then two crescent moons, the phases of life, the phases of the Cancer energy. Pardon me for that. Couldn't help myself. And the threes is always going to represent God's hand. It's a divinity, the Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost. And I feel like, okay, Mars and Pluto's opposition, not going to be easy no matter what. Okay. But how you walk through it emotionally, how you have processed it. And I almost feel as if any planets that you have, for some reason, I'm picturing squaring planets. I don't know why. You all have your own individual charts, but for Cancer rising, if you have something up in your midheaven or on your IC, you may be actually celebrating the opposition that has been presenting itself could very well bring something in where you experience a reason to celebrate. Well, that's fun, Stephen. It also sounds like a lot of nuns were there. Okay, let's look at this. Cancer, Three of Cups, is being joined by Layla. Then we have Teresa. Then we have Serena, the angel of abundance. And we have Maya. You will be celebrating something that you've incorporated. No, if they're not enjoying it, still hit the button. I'm kidding. I'm going to make I've decided, because when I do the charts, they're a little bit on the pricey side because I do them all hand. They take me weeks to do. I'm going to start to have a service where people can submit their chart, and then rather than having me look at it ahead of time, they just get a verbal and we'll go over it and they'll make it more affordable. That was another thing I had coming up. So since you bring that all up. Okay. Cancer, Layla is about connecting with spirit. She is being joined by the high priestess. This is a doubling down. And I don't even think that this is about connecting with spirit. I think this is about connecting to your own moon, your own sense of intuition, your own sense of self-healing, your sense of self-care. And I think that it's really important too, because I feel like your intuition will say there's no reason to worry. In fact, there may be reason to celebrate, but the opposition to Pluto, Mars and Pluto, again, Mars is in fall. So Mars is the more challenged planet. Mars could be the more angry planet because Mars is, I have no power here. I have no voice here. So here for my Cancers, Teresa is about worrying about everybody, and the serpent is about knowledge. And it's also the Kundalini energy. So I think on some level, this may be about your own energy, about worry not serving your life force. And you can't help it because there is, even if you are not a late degree Cancer, you've still been experiencing that opposition. And hearing what's happening in the outside world can trigger the memories of whatever Pluto disrupted, because Serena is being joined by the frog. And I think that's to do again with money and abundance and ability to take care of our families and protect our families and make sure our families are fed and thriving. Maya, the angel of schooling and education, is really reminding you of your intuitive knowing and celebrating and harvesting that in a way, because no matter what, in times of trouble, there are people that thrive and people that move forward. So here, I think this is an incorporation of wisdom. I feel like I'm looking very strongly at trusting both the goddess and the god within that knows more succinctly what there is moving ahead, not what I can see with my eyes, but what I can see with my heart. All right, let's get on to our Leos, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Queen Leo still in the room? Oh, there you are. Okay, good. All right. All right, Leo, your card for the week is the High Priestess. This is a very powerful energy, very intuitive, very discerning. This High Priestess doesn't necessarily live in the material world. She lives more in her inner knowing, and she's settled into it. She knows she maneuvers through the material world, but she trusts her inner knowing more than she ever trusts the outside information. So let's see where we're going here. Our first angel is Vanessa, faith over fear. The second is Serena. So much about money's coming up. Celeste could be about a shift in the way you're thinking or about a new potential job or home. And then we have Azure saying your desired outcome will happen in the near future. I get the High Priestess a lot when I'm in a place of there's no action. Like there's no physical movement happening, but yet at the same time, there's a lot of movement happening because things are happening in the angelic realm. And as a Mars-ruled woman, part of my life path is to learn how to ebb and flow with spirit and not take too much action, especially aggressive action. Focus is on faith for our Leos. That's sometimes not easy. We have Serena and the Wasp. That's a little bit challenging. We have Celeste and the Fear card. We have the Baird and Azure. This is very much going to be an emotional thing for Leo. Those that are early born Leos are feeling the opposition, and Mars is up as Mars is about to move into your first house on the 4th. So I think that this week is really a call of I almost want to say, do your best not to react to something, to rather slow down and focus on why and how you're taking your actions. Are they on faith or fear? Here's the Wasp and Serena. Somebody's messing with your serenity. I don't think that's about money now. I think that's that opposition, and then we have the square to Venus. We have the opposition from Mercury to Uranus. So you could even let the media could drive you crazy. Something could happen that has nothing to do with an actual other person. This feels very much like an interior job, like something gets triggered. And then Celeste is really making you aware of your fears. And again, that's those early born Leos are going to feel the annihilation, that weird, death feeling that Pluto can bring about. And it could be free floating. You could be like, I don't even know why I feel this way. I just do, because something's from your history could be coming back, but you also have an opportunity to be aware of it. And then I want to say, conquer it. I'm so shocked, to be honest with y'all, about my, Leo rules romance. And I've been acting like the dumbest ass in this crush that I have. And I mean, nothing embarrassing really, but just being, a little too Martian, to be honest. And it's not a comfortable feeling for me. And yet I've been watching myself sort of act outside of my body. And I say all this because there's an opportunity to exercise patience in my awareness and then use spirit to shift how I'm feeling. And go to another level of vibration. It's obviously challenging, Lucy Rose, because if it wasn't, I wouldn't be triggered. All right, here we go to our Virgos, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. 2 more signs to go, guys. You know, to be a teenager at my age is not fun, because when you're a teenager the first time, you can actually claim idiocy, okay? You can claim unknowing. But when you're my age, how do you do that? How do you pretend that you don't know you're being a dumbass? I guess. I don't really know if I think it's wonderful. I think it's an exercise in my self-worth, to be honest with you, and it's pissing me off. Okay, here we go. This is for our Virgos. The 2 of Pentacles. This is flow of money. Flow. It's also a little travel. We see a little travel in there. On one of my new decks, there's a girl riding down the beach with these big sunflowers. I look at this a little bit as those spiky energies make me feel like this is requiring me to have flow when things feel a little contrary. Now we know that Virgo is experiencing the opposition of Saturn and potentially the opposition of Neptune. That's the whole point, DJ. You just said this is what my whole channel is about. You have to start somewhere, and just to try to have an awareness is all we can hope for. And the more that we hope for that, the more our awareness goes up. The more awareness we have, the more we have an opportunity to shift our experience. Welcome, Millionaire J. I like the sound of that. That's a good handle to have. That's what I call a declaration to the universe. All right, Virgo, let's see where we're going with this flow. Athena says it's safe for you to lovingly assert yourself. It's about time, says Isabella. Yvonne is about being vulnerable to your own assertion. And then Serafina is offering a happy change to your family. All right. Let's see what this is about. I know, money is so funny. You know what? I will say I love the idea of no tax on tips, no tax. I love the idea of no income tax, period. I love all those ideas. No tax on Social Security, no paying on interest, being able to deduct it. Oh, I like all that. Athena, for my Virgos. Oh, there's the king. Lovingly assert your authority. Isabella is saying the timing is right to implement justice and balance. We have the transformational death card joining Yvonne in the angel's advice. And then we have Serafina. Your happiness is on the line here. Not on the line, but this is what this is about. This spiky, weird energy has something to do with money. Absolutely. And movement of money, flow of money. And you're not feeling the flow. It's feeling like it's spiky. It's like it's too jerky somehow. And here it's time to assert yourself towards what the things that you want. I really think that. And this Merlina card tells me that you have an opportunity to create more abundance through some balance of some kind. Now, the challenge is to be vulnerable to your ideas, because here the focus is on happiness, family happiness. Exactly. No more taxes. I love that idea. I vote for no more taxes. I already voted for no more taxes. Okay, Virgo, I want to say this to you. I think, just to wrap up, that Saturn's opposition to your house is doing a couple things. It's making you aware of how your mind stresses out about things that aren't even yours. Like, oh my God, I make sure I do this for this guy. I make sure I do that for that guy. My boss needs this, blah, 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 blah. And I think you're like, whoa. I need to be the authority in my life. I want to focus on me and mine, and make sure things are better. And I want to offer this too, because I really believe that the flow of money more and more is going to be illuminated by us being willing to stretch and scare ourselves a little bit, like going into, when I first started on this YouTube channel, I didn't know how to talk. I didn't know what to say. I felt like, I was like 7, 8 years ago, and I thought I was old then. And now I just do my astrology. I don't care if people like my astrology. They don't like it. They don't like my perceptions. I braid all these weird things together, and I'm so comfortable. So I want to say this for Virgo. As you go through process, you'll get more comfortable. Oh, the nodal shift. There's so much to talk about. There's so many videos to do. I got to tell you, it's nodal shift. We're going to have Neptune moving into Aries in March. We're going to have Pluto obviously moving into Aquarius. The whole energies are going to shift, and in big ways, big ways. And Uranus going through Taurus, and those last degrees are part of that. They're going to trine Pluto, and they're going to sextile Neptune. All right. I think we're on our last sign, Libra. So post happy birthday for our Libras. I got to tell you, did I tell you I got a lot of sweets for my birthday? I got cakes, and I got cheesecakes, and I got yummy flowers. It was very fun. It was a very nice birthday, actually, even though I got a little melancholy. Okay, here we go. I like being self-sufficient. I don't want a blue ribbon unless I earned it. I really don't. I don't like that at all. I've never liked it. All right, Libra. The Fool. This is kind of fun to get the Fool when you're just, on the backside of your birthday month, because to me, this is a whole new adventure. And when we look at the way people interpret the art of the tarot decks is kind of fun, because it really kind of stretches how the meaning of them. Because when I look at this right now, I see this water, I see this crocodile, I see the crow or whatever. I think it's a crow because it's small. And then I don't know if this is a butterfly or a bow, but it looks a little like a butterfly to me. It is a butterfly, but it's white and blue. So now I feel like I'm going on a new adventure. The moon is at the top of this guy's head, right? Now, I think that the Fool is always Mars. A lot of people, I don't know why they think that Uranus is the Fool. It makes no sense to me. Uranus is the Tower, okay? Lightning strikes, liberation, rebellion. The Fool is Mars going on some adventure, doesn't know where the hell he's going. He's jumping off the cliff. This is an emotional adventure. And the star above it is a destiny calling. The South Node is going through Libra right now. Let's see where we're going. There's also, when I look at this card, I have to go a little deeper. The crocodile and all the star memories make me feel like that's history's memories. That's my soul's memories. And somewhere I'm coming up out of them. I'm surviving through them. Because the stars on the top part of the card are much bigger. So this is my possibilities. This is where my soul has been. First angel is Daniel, the angel of partnership, which would actually be, this could be your angel, but it's the history within relationship. We have Layla spending time in nature. We have Chantal, the angel of romance, my goodness, and Vanessa. Well, isn't this interesting? Because I'm talking about feeling all triggered as a teenager. And my teenager, look, she was not popular. I mean, she was popular, but not like I wanted to be popular. I was popular to be everybody's mother when I was a teenager. And I chased this boy around for years when I was a teenager. It took me a long time to wrangle his ass down, I'll tell you. I don't want to go there again. I don't want to prove my worth to someone. So let's see what's going on, Libra. All right. Daniel and the Fire Fairy. Okay. We have Layla and the Burden card. Chantal and the Hawk. And Vanessa and the, wow, this is wild. Okay, because I'll tell you right now, the object of my desire is about to go into surgery. And I have been acting like a teenager and at the same time fighting, knowing that he's, going through a cancer right now. And, I don't know what's going on. And how can he even know, right? Because I shouldn't be the focus, but my teenager wants to always be the focus. Now, this is about optimism in love. And also my history in love, how I think about love. That would be the Fool going on the new adventure, because the South Node is going to tell you that everything's falling apart. The South Node is going through your first house saying, now here's time to really look at your own burden, your own how you view the potentials of your future, because not everybody's going to be in a relationship. But Chantal in the Angel's Advice is talking, that's 2 romance cards coming up in one spread. And I think that it doesn't have to do with actual romance as much as it has to do with potentially the Mars Pluto opposition. because again, all these oppositions are pulling and fighting with my own self-worth, because the moon to me is referencing my self-worth. Because how do I take care of myself? How do I nurture myself? How do I see my femininity and my receptivity? And Vanessa is actually calling forth your being energy. What do you believe about yourself? Because as you believe that you are also transformed, that your history now has served you to as a piece of information to uplift you, versus you reliving it in the disempowered way. I personally have felt like I'm living in my head in a disempowered way, and yet I don't know if I'm showing that on the outside. And I don't think he watches my channel, so this is why I talk about it, because if I thought he watched my channel, I wouldn't say a damn word about it. But I'm pretty sure that this victory over faith is not about him. It's about me and my self-worth. So Libra, your ruling planet, Venus is squaring Saturn. It's not going to be fun. It is here for you, I think, focused more on your value and your self-worth than it is about resources and money, which I saw more for some of the other signs. I think that you're revisiting some sort of historic way of feeling valuable in partnerships or in your relationships to others. I think that if you give yourself a moment, you might even want to declare something more demonstrative and then sit in that energy to allow yourself to experience that. Oh, Queen Leo, I would love to tell you more, but we got to get better. We got to get to a better chapter in the story. Right now, we're in the whole crazy, weird first, second act where all the disruption comes in. And, that's all him going through this health situation. Poor guy. He's freaking Pisces rising. He's got Mercury and Venus in Pisces. Saturn's sitting on his damn Mercury. Neptune is on his Venus, and his sun is 0 degrees Aries. This guy's going through some transits. And I try to tell him, but he doesn't believe in astrology very much. So there's that challenge. Anyway, all right, you guys. You know how it is. I want to thank y'all for being here. It's so fun to not only share the transits and talk about it, but to spill a little tea with you. It is again, guys, this is a powerful time in history. And we don't even realize it's as powerful as it is, because as much as we know it's powerful, we don't. That's what I want you to know. So be true to your heart. Do your best to identify between fear and faith, because that's going to take a lot. That's basically Mars and Pluto's transit and the opposition from Mercury to Uranus, because it could be a very liberating and a lot of revelations could come. Yes, may everyone have a blessed week and vote. I personally walked my butt down for the first time. I didn't mail it in. I didn't want to take any chances, as the United States Postal Service has endorsed a candidate. I didn't want anybody, and I felt very comfortable about how that played out. So we'll just wait and see. I pray for everybody's peace, and I love you all, and I honor you and your choices in life, and may they all serve your highest and greatest good. I will see you next week. We're going to be so close. All right, everybody. Love you. See you soon. And check out the Mars and Cancer final days video. That'll be helpful. And check out your love and tarots. I hope you see those. We did those for November, and we have the new moon video. So lots of fun content coming out. And I want to offer a peaceful week will really be about perception, right? And walking away from that which is inflammatory. And even though it may not be easy, that's where the real rubber meets the road, and you get to experience your awareness. All right, everybody. See you soon. I'll see you next week. Bye.